Makovsky. Welcome to JINSA Snapshot. It's Friday afternoon, October 10th. I'm here with my colleague, as usual, John Hannah, the Randi and Charles Wax Senior Fellow here at JINSA. John, as always, it's good to see you.
Good to see you, Mike. Another very quiet week. Nothing
Yeah,
happening.
as usual, we got nothing to talk about. We could talk about the baseball playoffs, but why don't we talk about the Middle East for a change? Uh, so, The obviously the huge news is the deal, the Gaza deal, that includes in the first phase release of the first within the 72 hours all the hostages, at least all the live ones, and I think a lot of the dead ones, but they don't know if they're going to get all the deceased hostages within that time frame. And obviously then there's going to be the Israelis are going to release hundreds, it looks like over 2,000 Palestinian prisoners or something like that, including a number of serving life for murder. But we've come to expect those proportions to release Israeli hostages. Look, I think there's a lot to say. There's a lot still being reported. It's still a very fluid situation as we're recording this. Why don't we just pick a couple of items? One is Trump supposedly going to Israel. He'll arrive apparently, reportedly on Monday morning, and he's going to speak at the Knesset. He obviously was invited by the Israelis, which is a big thing for a president to do. I think I read that it might be the fourth president to have done that, to speak to the Knesset. I don't know. I saw that. I don't know if that's accurate or not. But what do you? Let's just talk about that for a second. I want to encourage the audience. We had a webinar yesterday. You could look it up at jinsa.org with you, John, and our colleague General Amidor to discuss the deal. But why don't we just discuss, for instance, Trump going to Israel, because that is a big deal. The Israelis invite him. According to what reports we're seeing now, he's then going to go to Egypt from some sort of summit that Netanyahu will not participate in. I don't know if he was invited or not, but it's going to involve an eclectic group of European and Arab leaders. Let's talk about Trump going to Israel.
Yeah. As you said, Mike, it's going to be a big deal. Probably, I think Israel will be consumed, God willing, by the return of all the live hostages. That'll be a huge news item. But I think just below it may be Trump coming to Israel at that time to participate with the country in this huge moment of joy and relief and the start of a real healing process for the country to have gotten back finally all the remaining hostages will be a huge event. Trump is already far and away the most popular politician in Israel and world leader in Israel, probably far and away more popular than any Israeli politician, including the prime minister with the broad swath of the Israeli public. I think he'll be kind of greeted as a conquering hero with huge amounts of thanks. So coming at this time, I think.
By the way, John, I'm sorry to interrupt, but
Yeah.
if you don't mind, on this, just if those who haven't seen this, you should look up the Jerusalem Post. It's even been cited on Fox News, maybe other news outlets. The cover of the Jerusalem Post is he's bringing them home, and under that is a sort of silhouette of Trump, all filled with pictures of hostages. He's bringing them home. It's all Trump.
Yeah, and listen, Trump's relationship with this issue, as you've noted in our previous webinars, with the hostage question, getting them back, the importance he's placed on it, his relationship with the hostage families who have been so deeply engaged with him, he does certainly deserve a lot of credit. But I think, again, coming at this time, his standing in Israel is already so high. I think this is really going to send it to the roof. His own leverage, influence, trust that he has with Israeli society and the Israeli body politic. And my guess is he's going to, in his speech to the Knesset, is both going to be able to use that to really encourage Israel, congratulate it for what it's done, what it's accomplished in the region, what its government has accomplished, and urge it forward to take advantage of this moment with full American backing to try and reach some kind of grander peace deal in the Middle East that will really accrue to Israel's advantage, Israel's strength, Israel's international standing. But I think he will also tell the Israeli people that your prime minister, and in particular, was an absolutely vital partner in this process. What he has accomplished, both regionally and what he did together with me to make this a great day in Gaza, getting back all these hostages, the military campaign that he's waged has been absolutely essential to our success. And I think he's going to, I don't know how far he'll go, but to say this is the guy I need sitting in the prime minister's chair going forward as Israel enters an election sometime over the coming months.
So let me ask you about that, because the clip I saw, I imagine you saw, of Witkoff and Jared Kushner at this Israeli cabinet meeting. I thought it was notable that Witkoff, who obviously clearly channels the president, said how important a role Netanyahu had, and he had to make hard decisions. I thought it was interesting that Jared Kushner gave credit to IDF soldiers. You don't hear that a lot, I would say, from U.S. officials. I think with Kushner, you could argue, given his, clearly visceral support for Israel, he clearly means it. But it highlights an important part that you say that, clearly it's seen that the Israeli military action was an important component here of getting things done. But why do you think? I'll just say one more thing on the Netanyahu thing is that, I haven't read all the Hebrew press. I don't generally look at it. I certainly read all the publications in English, but it seems like Trump is getting a lot of the credit, and there's a good reason for it, because he really pushed this and made it happen. But it's kind of obscures. I haven't seen a lot of compliments to Netanyahu, partly because I think half the Israelis hate his. There's like a Trump derangement. I mean, there's a Netanyahu derangement syndrome, kind of like you have a Trump derangement syndrome here in the United States. So at least half the country hates him, it seems like, and doesn't want to give him credit. So why do you think that? I think if Trump, if Netanyahu sometimes, and I'm not saying he doesn't deserve criticism, but I mean, that's not just an objective thing. If he coughs, people say he should have sneezed. Why do you think Trump wants to do that? Why did Witkoff say what he said yesterday? Why do you think Trump will say what you just said? He'll say in the Knesset.
Yeah, I mean, my guess, he knows this is not easy for Bibi and this coalition and this government and a lot of people in his constituency who, listen, at the end of the day, they had two war goals: get the hostages back and destroy and finish Hamas. And frankly, those things were in conflict always. And I think his government always, at the end of the day, the decision to go into Gaza City, conquer it, was moving the priority of defeating Hamas militarily above the potential fate of some of these hostages. You could lose them, but Israel had to win this war first. And I think Trump has forced them to shift that priority, that he's aligning himself with the majority of Israelis who said, no, the first priority has to be returning those hostages. Then we can figure out how to deal with Hamas. So this is very difficult for Bibi. And I think the president recognizes that as a politician. But I also think he values Netanyahu as a partner. He admires him. He admires the hard decisions he had to make all the way going back to this amazing destruction of Hezbollah, collapse in Syria, the Iranian project, the destruction of that nuclear program that they did together, but that Israel was the one that led the way on that and delivered this huge triumph for Trump. And Bibi had to be the essential partner in making this current achievement, getting those hostages back, successful. And he made hard decisions to do that in cooperation with the president. I think the president believes, like Franklin Roosevelt believed, he's got a real partner in Churchill. That's the way Trump feels about Bibi. That Bibi's an essential partner, and he wants to recognize the risks he's taking politically and otherwise, and wants to give him a boost and wants to see him as a continuing partner.
Right, because Trump has over 3 more years left in his tenure, and Netanyahu, there might be Israeli elections soon. Reports suggest you could maybe see Israeli elections, and I don't know, in a few months or in the springtime or something like that. And you're saying you think that he'd rather have Netanyahu to work with?
I think he's made that pretty clear over time that he admires Netanyahu. He sees a kindred spirit, a very strong leader in control of a lot of the decision making, who's prepared when necessary on behalf of his country, on behalf of the U.S.-Israel relationship, to make bold decisions. This is a guy that Trump has operated. He's done huge things with Abraham Accords, now this, the Iranian nuclear project. This is a partnership that works, has demonstrated success. It's possible of great things over the next coming years, and he's comfortable having Bibi in that seat.
Okay, great. All right, John, anything else? Otherwise,
no, lots else to discuss, Mike, but we got plenty of time to do that. This issue isn't going away. So thanks for
one thing. I know we're about to conclude. I guess you said that he had to, Netanyahu kind of had to change his priorities, but don't you think under these conditions, we don't know what the other phases are going to look like. We don't know if Hamas is going to resist the disarmament, even though it seems like Qatar, Turkey, all of them are saying do this deal and so on. But just say, for the way you see things, do you see this as a clear, is this meeting Netanyahu's basic demands of a clear defeat for Hamas, or not, the way things are now?
I can't tell you. I still think it creates the possibility within that plan is the defeat of Hamas. It's done primarily through political means and through outsiders coming in and taking over the final steps of demilitarizing Gaza and disarming Hamas. It's not going to be done, at least in the plan, according to an IDF military operation. And I don't think you would have talked to a lot of Israeli military analysts a month ago who would have said, yeah, we can put our trust in an international stabilization force to take the final last steps of making sure Hamas is put to the ash heap of history. And yet that's what this plan calls for. We'll see if it can be done, if Trump is true to his word and forces this disarmament. But my guess is, at the end of the day, it's not going to be completely satisfactory to Israelis who are hoping that they'd heard the last of the organization called Hamas.
And if Israel feels compelled, because to respond militarily to Hamas not fulfilling the other terms of this deal, it certainly would be easier for Israel, with the hostages out, of course, to respond more aggressively.
It will be easier, but it'll be more difficult to the extent the President of the United States is really invested now in the notion that this war is coming to an end. We're going to put into place some kind of other framework, and we're going to move on to my much bigger agenda to ensure that next year I do get the Nobel Peace Prize. And you're going to have, at some point in time already, maybe very early, Qatari troops coming in, Turkish troops coming in,
Yeah.
Egyptian troops coming in. You're going to have some kind of new technocratic Palestinian governing authority, international UN people coming in, providing aid, rebuilding infrastructure. So while having no hostages may make it a lot easier, once you get all those internationals going in, I think it could be a complicating factor. It's not going to be like a lot of people hope, like Area B of the West Bank, where Israel goes in at will on a nightly basis to conduct military ops. And it probably won't be like Lebanon, where Israel right now, everybody knows, is the ultimate guarantor. If they see anything with regard to Hezbollah moving in southern Lebanon, the IDF goes to work conducting hundreds of operations since that ceasefire. I'm not at all confident that that's going to be the future in Gaza.
Okay. Well, let's talk about that next week then. Hopefully, by the time we talk next week, the hostages will all be out and we'll be in a different, place, and we'll go from there. John, great to see you. Wish you and everybody a good weekend, and looking forward to hopefully a very positive early next week in the Mideast.
Thanks, Mike.
Bye.